Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, mahaba, moni muliwanji, namaste, jumbo, bienvenidos. Hi, my name is Jed Lee, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We're coming to you from the crowded Mattress Studios in the beautiful neighborhood of Reedville in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts. We're so honored and so very happy that you are joining us in our mission to help all families grow closer through reading. Please be sure to tell all of your family and friends about the show, and please be sure to subscribe to the show on the iHeartRadio app, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher Radio, wherever you find your podcasts. Our guest today is Sally Fetough. She's here to help us celebrate Down Syndrome Awareness Day and celebrate her beautiful book, Jana's Brightly Colored Socks. Before we invite Sally into the studio, we want to invite you to visit our YouTube page, the Reading with Your Kids YouTube page. So much stuff going on there. Of course, at our Reading with Your Kids YouTube page, you can find our Drawing with Your Kids drawing lessons, and that's a whole lot of fun. But the thing I would love for you to find right now is Meltdown, The Walls That Separate. It is deep into our archives. You might need to search for it. But it is a video that I produced back way back in 1989. I do believe that we reference it here in this interview. And in the video, it's just a celebration of friendship. And the celebration and helping kids to become aware that kids with developmental disabilities, with any kind of disabilities, can be a great friend. And that's what Jana's Brightly Colored Socks is all about too. So we'd love for you to check out Jana's Brightly Colored Socks. Also would love for you to go to our Reading with Your Kids YouTube channel and check out our video, Meltdown, The Walls That Separate. Join us right now from Sydney in the beautiful nation of Australia. Our guest is here today to celebrate her wonderful picture book. It's called Jana's Brightly Colored Socks. I think I have something in common with Jana. Please welcome to the show the author, Sally Fetough. Hey, Sally, how are you?
Hi, Jed. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm always delighted to speak to somebody who's speaking to me from the future.
Yes, that's right here. That's right. We're ahead of you.
Yes, it's in so many ways than one.
That's right.
So tell us all about Jana.
So Jana's, the book's actually based on my daughter, Jana, who has Down syndrome. And she has just, in real life, learned how to wear her socks all by herself. And so this story came to me just as an inspiration from her, really. And in the story, she gets lots of brightly colored socks to celebrate this milestone. And she shares her favorite pair with her friends at school. And then an adventure follows where, they go on a sock parade and all sorts of exciting things happen.
I love this. What a beautiful, beautiful premise for a story.
Yeah. It's supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to promote diversity and inclusion and friendship and kindness and all these beautiful values.
Yeah. And promoting brightly colored socks.
Yes.
I think Jana and I we're like kindred spirits. I think we'd get along famously.
Yes. Socks are fun, especially when they're mismatched and bright. Yes, for sure.
That's really wonderful. I have to ask, I think it's beautiful that you're celebrating your daughter and introducing your daughter to the world. And I think it's also a bit courageous. I've shared here on the podcast that back before I became a full-time professional clown and magician and was touring the country, I was working in a school for kids with severe developmental disabilities. And now this is back in 1988, 1989. And at that time, there were very, very few families that were willing to acknowledge that they had somebody in their family that had a a developmental disability, that had a severe special need. And, here you are, you're celebrating, you're letting people know, hey, this is a person that I love more than anything else in the world. And I think that you would love her too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, times have changed, and you'll find people with Down syndrome and other disabilities just leading, regular lives like everyone else. And they're just like the rest of us, and what I'm trying to achieve with this story is to give readers a snapshot of what it's like to be living with Down syndrome, that, we might be a little bit different. It's okay to be different, but we're still all the same. And, we all want to have friends. We all want to have fun. We all do the same things that everyone else does. So, it's okay. I know children by nature are curious as well. When they see that someone else is a little bit different than them, then they might have questions, and this story gives them an opportunity to see that it's okay to be different, and it's okay to ask questions, and you accept others just the way they are. It's okay to be curious, and just the importance of being different, the diversity, and including everyone in a community, in a school setting. That's the purpose of the story, really.
Yeah.
And I hope I can achieve that when children read that, or parents or teachers.
Yeah. One of the words that you use is diversity, and I think it's very important for folks to understand that when you're talking about a person with Down syndrome, there's no cookie cutter that person can fit into. A person with Down syndrome falls on a huge spectrum of abilities and capabilities. Can you talk a little bit first about what Down syndrome is, and then just talk a little bit about the spectrum, the wide diversity of abilities folks with Down syndrome have?
Sure, yeah. So Down syndrome is a condition that someone might be born with. It involves an extra chromosome. So everyone is born with 46 chromosomes in every cell, but a person with Down syndrome has an extra one. So what that might mean is they might need to work a little bit harder. That's how I explain it to kids, that your body has to work extra hard with that extra chromosome to maybe it takes them longer to speak, or maybe it takes them longer to walk. But, no, you can't generalize. You can't say that all people with Down syndrome are the same. Mm-hmm. So it's not a disease. It's a condition. It's something that someone's born with. It's a characteristic. Like, people might have blue eyes. Other people might have green eyes. Other people might have, brown hair, red hair. It's just a characteristic that makes up the person, and it makes them a little bit different. But at the end of the day, people with Down syndrome are just like everyone else. So it might take them longer to achieve their milestones, but they do achieve them. They might have extra traits. You might find that people with Down syndrome are very friendly or kind, but you cannot generalize at the end of the day. So yeah, that's basically what Down syndrome. And you can't also, you find that some people with Down syndrome might have health issues, so others don't. So you can't really generalize as well. The extra chromosome can manifest itself in different ways in different people. Mm-hmm. So that's basically it.
Yeah, and I think that's important too, because we see here in the States, I'm very familiar with folks with Down syndrome who are not only able to hold a job, but receive college degrees and hold very high level jobs and start businesses and whatnot. And other folks with Down syndrome aren't able to do a lot of those things. So just like when we're meeting anybody in the world, I think it's important for us to help our kids understand and remind ourselves that the person we're meeting can't be labeled. We have to get to know the person, get to know their capabilities, their likes, and just get to know how wonderful they are as a person.
That's right. It's exactly it. So, some people might be a bit, there's a fear of the unknown. If you haven't met someone with Down syndrome or someone who's different from you, you're just a bit, worried and you don't know how to deal with them. But, it just starts with a simple hello. And the more you get to know the person, the more you realize how lovely they are. And they're not that much different from you. So you might even learn some things from them. Everyone is different. Everyone's unique. Everyone's special, whether they have Down syndrome or not. And there's always something that we can learn from each other. And that's the beauty of the including people that are different from you in the community, in schools, in work, in, whatever activity that you may find yourself, because you learn from people who are different from you. And the more that people with Down syndrome and other differences who are integrated into the community, the more it becomes, I don't like to use the word normal, but it becomes normal. It becomes, it's not unusual to find someone who is, different, or, it's okay to be different, basically. That's the message.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too is that when we see somebody with Down syndrome or another challenge being accepted into our community, it maybe helps us accept ourselves a little bit more and understand that, hey, if this community is open to accepting Jana and seeing the wonderful things that Jana can offer, well, maybe they're going to be able to accept me and see what I can offer too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the message that we're trying to send. I'm trying to send in the book, that it's okay to be different. You might, have a little characteristic that's a bit different than someone else that you feel a bit, uneasy about or unusual. But it's okay to have that. That's what makes us all special and unique. And it's really important to instill that confidence in kids as well. That, to accept yourself and to love yourself, even people with Down syndrome, that, you're okay. There's nothing strange about you. You're great. You're just perfect the way you are. It's okay to be who you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I don't know how old Jana is right now. And I don't know if Jana is aware that she's a star of this great book.
She's 6 now. She loves the book, so she calls it Jana's book, and we sometimes read it for bedtime. And she loves the pictures in it, and some of the situations in the book. But no, she doesn't. She's not aware yet that she's the star, but she enjoys it. And I've gone several times to her, then preschool, to read it to her classmates, and she was excited that, I was there and reading the book and, her book. And, yeah.
She sounds like every other 4th or 5th grader, a 4 or 5-year-old in a preschool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She just loves to have fun. She's got a bit of cheekiness to her, and she's very social, loves other kids, and loves socks.
Loving socks and cheeky. Like I said, I think Jana and I would get along great.
Yeah, I'm sure she would.
You are, in addition to being a children's author, you are a photographer.
Yes, that's right. I'm trying to be.
Yeah.
When I have time.
So talk, please, a little bit about that, because I think there are a lot of people out there who, now we all have these things in our pocket that have cameras that are more sophisticated than the one I paid $1,000 for back in the 1980s. But I don't think a lot of us know how to really take pictures and to kind of express themselves. Can you talk a little bit about, how we can up our photography game?
Yeah, sure. So it's just a matter of practice. So I'm self-taught. So I got at a huge fancy Nikon DSLR, and I didn't know how to use it. So I attended a photography workshop, just to see what the basic functionality was. And, it's just a matter of, if you enjoy. Now I find myself looking at nature in a different way. If I take a photograph, I'm just like testing different angles, testing different lighting. And it's just something, if you enjoy taking pictures, then you can enjoy using it as a form of expression as well. So my inclination is more towards nature, outdoors. Now I'm going towards, themes, exploring themes in a series of photography, for photographs. Other people enjoy photographing people and, exploring the different aspects of a person. So, if you want to make use of your phone, if you want to make use of your camera, then, just practice, just take lots of photographs, try the different settings, maybe, attend a course or something, and find like-minded people as well, those who, enjoy photography. You can go on tours together. I know there's like guided walks and things where you can take photographs of nature. It's another avenue of expression that I found for me, and a way of being creative, which I quite enjoy when I have the time to do it.
Yeah. Now, do you find that your perspective of the world changes a little bit as you become more in tune with photography and more in tune with loving to photograph nature?
Yeah, because you see things in a different way. It's not like when you're trying to take a shot, you're trying to, set it up that the angle's right, the lighting is right, and you take notice of the details that you might not have before. And when you see the photograph, when you're sitting there editing it, you're just being exposed to the finer details even more, and it makes you reflect on the beauty that's around us. And there's a lot that is out there that we don't really appreciate. We're just so consumed by the fast pace of life and the daily routines and everything. Just taking the time to enjoy what's out there in the nature, and I find that doing that through photography is quite relaxing. It's a way of de-stressing as well. It's a way of slowing down, and appreciating what's out there, realizing that there's more to life than, our daily routines and all that. So, yeah.
This is interesting. As you were speaking about looking at something from different angles and looking at the same thing through different perspectives and trying to appreciate the many details of that object, of that piece of nature, it's kind of what you want people to do as they're reading Jana's Brightly Colored Socks. To see your daughter from all different angles, to really notice all the beautiful details about her. She's more than the shape of her eyes and the things that she can't do or the things that she has difficulty doing. She's really a unique and beautiful person.
I love that analogy. It's absolutely right. It's so true. We have a lot of facets to us, right? To our personalities, to what we are able to contribute and give and share. And, it's the labels just, stereotype people and they pigeonhole them. And that's what I'm trying to achieve through the story, to show people that, there are different aspects to all personalities or all people, whether they have Down syndrome or not. And it's all beautiful, really, if you think about it. Yeah.
I hope this question doesn't make you feel uncomfortable. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable, but I do remember, I don't know how many years ago, and I'm not going to name the country because I won't get it right, and I don't want to insult any particular country, but I do know that there was a Scandinavian country that was really making a lot of news because they said, hey, we've done away with Down syndrome. Don't have any kids being born here with Down syndrome anymore. We've solved that problem. I bet you'd have a different perspective on that. What would you say to those folks?
Yeah, well, I think it's quite unfortunate, and they're missing out on a lot. I'll be honest, before I had Jana, I had no idea. I had no knowledge whatsoever about Down syndrome. I had no insights into the disability community. I was probably like the same as everyone else, like the majority of people out there who had no exposure, who had no reason to be exposed to the world of disability. But when Jana was born, and I've said this in many other channels, that, we thought it was a death sentence for us. We didn't know what to expect. We were scared. There was the fear, and it was all because of the unknown. Mm-hmm. We had no knowledge of it. But, we got into the community, and we've met so many different people. The Down syndrome community is just absolutely amazing. There are so many fantastic people out there, adults with Down syndrome, children with Down syndrome, people helping Down syndrome, the health professionals, the doctors, the whole community, the whole ecosystem out there is just amazing. And they're doing some wonderful things. They're accomplishing things. They're achieving things. And I think people who try to shut out all that are missing out on so much, because there is so much you can learn, so much to see, and there's so much beauty in it as well, that I am so grateful to be a part of this community, and I'm just so proud of my daughter mm-hmm. and everyone with Down syndrome, because they are doing just amazing, and they're just beautiful people. Yeah. They really are.
Yeah. Yeah, I learned so much when I first started working in that school that I mentioned earlier on. And I'll be honest, when I first I was introduced to the school as a lifeguard, and the kids came down without any prior knowledge. Just this group of kids came down to go swimming in the pool, and I was kind of terrified because I had never met kids with such challenges. But that made me feel bad, because here I was wanting to make a living as a clown and entertaining kids, and here there were these kids who were making me feel uncomfortable. So I made it a point to get to know them, and it ended up working at the school. And I am so grateful, because it wasn't a kid with Down syndrome. It was a kid with something called Rett syndrome, which is also a neurological, different type of neurological disorder, that introduced me to my beautiful wife. And here we are almost 33 years later, and we're still together. And it was all because of Jennifer.
Wow, amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So, I want to encourage everybody to go out and get yourself a copy of Jana's Brightly Colored Socks, because I think what a beautiful lesson to teach our kids to be open to the beauty and the wonder of everybody that we meet.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And just to add, so March 21st is World Down Syndrome Day, and we're all going to be wearing our bright and mismatched socks. And by the way, socks, the reason why socks is chosen is because chromosomes are shaped like socks. And we are celebrating the extra chromosome by wearing bright and mismatched socks on the day. So 21st of March, which is also Harmony Day. To celebrate that.
Well, we are going to be wearing our bright, and since we are releasing this episode on March 21st, we want you to get out there and join me, because I have my brightly mismatched colored socks on, and I think I'll wear a pair on my hands too later on after we finish. And get out there and just spread the word, and just open yourself up to friendship and love and relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Hey, Sally, tell everybody, please, where they can go to find out more about Jana's Brightly Colored Socks, and also find out more about you.
So you can go, you'll find these sold in all the online retailers, so all the online shops. You can also go to my website, so www.sallyfetough.com/books. And you will find a list of those retailers there, more information about me, and you can order directly from me a signed copy.
We've had a really fun and enlightening time speaking to the author of Jana's Brightly Colored Socks. She's also Jana's mom, Sally Fetough. Sally, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Please be sure to join us for the next episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be our friend Lori Orlinsky. She has a brand new book out. She's going to tell you all about that and tell you all about her new friends, Lefty and Righty, and what hijinks they get up to in the beautiful city of Chicago. Hey, I want to thank the folks who made today's show so wonderful. Of course, we'll start by thanking our guests, Sally Fetough. Please be sure to check out Jana's Brightly Colored Socks. Also want to thank my team, Fatima Khan, Rory Grady, Will Cheever, Jordan Saley, Cassandra Mason A, Stephanie Davila. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. Most of all, we all want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, and as always, thank you so very much for taking the time to make the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.